There are lots of reptiles that don't get the attention that they deserve. So in this video I'm going to pick out 5 of them to tell you about. I'm Toby, this is Paco, this is Toby's Exotics. Let's get straight into the video. So this one is like a spin-off of one of the most common reptiles out there, the leopard gecko. So number 5 is the African fat-tailed gecko. They are so similar, but genuinely I prefer the African fat-tailed geckos, and my friend has both and he prefers the African fat-tailed gecko. They are amazing, amazing animals, and because everyone goes for leopard geckos, they don't really get the attention that they deserve because everyone just goes to the leopard geckos. They're so similar, but there are a few differences that I just love about them. Number 1, they do a whole lot better on stuff like bark. Like if you would like to put a reptile, for example a leopard gecko, I don't feel comfortable putting a leopard gecko on cocoa fibre. I know that's weird, and I'm not saying that if you do that then you're a bad keeper. I know that Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles does it. I have no problem with it, but personally I wouldn't. I would put a leopard gecko on paper towel. But an African fat-tailed gecko, I have no problems with that. You can put it on coconut coir, you can put it on coconut chips, you can basically put them on any substrate. They'll still do well on paper towels. So they're better for a larger array of they're better for a larger array of substrates. I'm sorry, but the lovebird will not shut up. They're also just a little bit prettier in my opinion. My friend's African fat-tailed gecko has a blue tail, which is just So as I was saying, my friend's African fat-tail has a blue tail, which is just insane. She is a certain type of morph, although she was just rehomed off of like pre-loved, like basically Craigslist in the UK really, for pets. So she's really nice. If you look on the channel, I did an African fat-tailed gecko and George the Snack. That's my friend's African fat-tailed gecko. They're also a little bit more interesting because a leopard gecko, when they look at you, they look cool, but when an African fat-tailed gecko looks at you, they have big black bold eyes, so they look even cuter. That is why I prefer African fat-tailed geckos over leopard geckos, but definitely I would recommend both of them. They make amazing pets. But that was number 5, the African fat-tailed gecko. On to number 4. So number 4, and number 4 we're going to go for the gargoyle gecko. Now the gargoyle gecko, I know a lot of people don't really like gargoyle geckos, and to be honest I'm not really sure why. They are very similar again to the crested gecko, but they are much chunkier. They have a much bigger feel, they feel different, their texture of their skin is different, and they're also just a little bit out there. Also, what I love about the gargoyle gecko is when they drop their tail, they can regenerate it. Like the cresties that drop their tail and don't do anything, they just heal up and they don't have a tail, which is a bit of a pain in the bum. Really, I have Paco and I'm just waiting for the day for his tail to fall off. It's like they come with something that they don't need. But gargoyle geckos, they will regrow it, which is super, super cool. Also, gargoyles come in much redder colours. They're, as I said, they are much chunkier and they have a lot more sort of bumps on them, especially in the head. So gargoyles are a little bit different, and I would say they're just as good as the crested gecko, and not too many people actually realise that. But yeah, gargoyle geckos are absolutely fabulous. I would highly recommend them. Same with the crested. I mean, crested geckos, you can't go wrong with them. But yeah, that was number 4, the gargoyle gecko. On to number 3. So next up on the number 3, we're gonna go for the Dumerals boa, and I can guarantee that a few people watching this video will not even know what a Dumerals boa is, and it's basically a super cool version of a common boa constrictor. These guys have an extremely cool, intricate pattern with greys or browns with some darker sort of greys into blacks. And they are slightly smaller than the boa constrictor. So the boa constrictor averages out about the males being about 6 to 8 feet, and the females being up to 12, with the biggest being something stupid like 14 feet. The Dumerals boa, on the other hand, you're looking at the big scale of a huge female being 8 foot. Therefore, the male Dumerals boas, they can stay as small as 3 foot. The average size Dumerals boa is about 5.5 to 6 feet long. Dumerals boas, they are a little bit harder to find. That's just something that you'll need to cope with. A lot of people need to cope with it, but I'm telling you right now, Dumerals boas are going to zoom up in popularity. It's just one of these reptiles that's just going to go bonkers. I know that it happened with garter snakes. Garter snakes were quite low, and then they just went rocketing in the US. Now they're actually starting their decline, garter snakes, in the UK. They're actually quite hard to find, especially in Scotland. But Dumerals boas, they're just a really nice snake that don't really get as big. For example, if I were to personally get a boa constrictor, I wouldn't really feel all that comfortable with a huge female boa constrictor. So you would get a male, but there's still a chance that male could get a little bit bigger than is really all that safe for you. So getting a Dumerals boa, you still get that sort of same big snake experience. Oh, you still get that big snake experience, but they're never ever dangerous, especially for people sort of 10 years old and above. I wouldn't really ever trust a big snake with someone under the age of 10, even if it's a Dumerals. So I love Dumerals boas, and it's definitely a must-have reptile. I'm definitely going to get one. That was number 3, on to number 2. Okay, number 2, and a lot of people are about to get angry. Birds are indeed reptiles. Sorry, but my voice is now blowing up. I don't know why. And second is the budgie. As I said, birds are reptiles. Budgies are so underrated. A lot of people do have them. Like, they are extremely common, but I know that a few people are wanting, to get a parrot. A lot of people want to get a parrot, and they're like, well, I want to get a big bird because big birds have all the personality. Mwah. See, he's got millet. He's guarding the millet. Okay, I'm sorry. But don't skip over a budgie. If you would like to get a parrot, get a budgie. Budgies are insane. This guy brightens up my day. He also destroys my dreams sometimes. Budgies are really, really smart little personalities. Lovebirds are too. I just haven't got to know my lovebird yet. She'll brighten up. Yeah, budgies are brilliant. They're so cheap. And they live for a good long time. He's expected to live 15, possibly 20 years, fed on a good diet. As I said in the Lovebird video, I do follow Bird Tricks. Bird Tricks are amazing for all that stuff. I actually bought the budgie bundle. I've actually had 3 budgies. One unfortunately passed away in a terrible accident. His brother was actually my second budgie, and he actually passed away of a tumour or something like that, we're fairly certain. But we finally landed this guy. He's been here with us for a good wee while now. Yeah, also I will warn you, if you do get a budgie, expect your first budgie not to come to a very happy end. It does happen, either for you or for the budgie. I've spoken to a lot of people. Their first budgies have devastating effects, really. They do fly. That's about it. The budgies are awesome. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this far, because number 1 is so underrated and I absolutely love them. This is number 1. So number 1, I absolutely adore this animal and it has to come soon. I have to have this animal in my collection soon. Number 1, the blue-tongued skink. Blue-tongued skinks, I love blue-tongued skinks! Blue-tongued skinks are so cool. And they're actually... A lot of animals on this list are a spin-off of other animals. Blue-tongued skinks, in my opinion, and I haven't even had a blue-tongued skink. I have, however, had a bearded dragon. Bearded dragons, in my opinion, don't make good beginner reptiles. They genuinely don't. My first reptile was a bearded dragon, and things went rapidly downhill. He was at the vets all the time. He had a short life, although he was rescued, so we didn't know what age he was. It was a good few years ago, and bearded dragons aren't great. Blue-tongued skinks, on the other hand, are a whole lot easier. Bearded dragons, you need to worry about getting salad, so your leafy greens and bugs into them. Blue-tongued skinks can have like anything you want to give them, really. I know that favourite of blue-tongued skinks are quail eggs. Leafy greens, they'll take that, no bother. The thing with blue-tongued skinks is that they're absolute pigs. Blue-tongued skinks also have a bit of size to them, so if you're looking for a bigger reptile, blue-tongued skinks are a really good route. They are quite expensive. For me, for looking at a good blue-tongued skink, you're looking about £250. In the States, you can get some pretty cheap. I've seen some in the States for $200, which is, I don't know the currency, I think currency exchange, I think it's about £180. But over here you're looking about £250. I think that's something like $280. Yeah, blue-tongued skinks, they are like the cross. They're like putting a bearded dragon and a snake together. You've got a blue-tongued skink. They feel really nice. For me especially, with sort of sensory, holding snakes is really calming, and it's quite calming for a lot of people unless you're terrified of snakes. But blue tongues give you that feeling without having a snake around the house, so especially if your parents don't mind reptiles but hate snakes, blue-tongued skinks are a fairly good option to meet in the middle. Yeah, I love blue-tongued skinks. You would keep them in sort of a 4 foot by 2 foot viv. They'll go on a substrate of cocoa fibre, really. UVB is a must with most reptiles. I'm always aiming to get all my reptiles onto UVB. Yeah, basically that is the blue-tongued skink. Thank you so much for watching. If you like reptiles, if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. It really helps. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video. If it was a bit long, I apologise. I like talking. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.